Broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This is the Firearms Radio Network. The bandwidth for this episode of Gun Guy Radio is sponsored by Patriot Patch Company. PatriotPatch.co.
Welcome to episode 179 of Gun Guy Radio. This is a podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Jake Challand, and this is your weekly dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. Welcome back to the program. We have a quick announcement before we get rolling this week. We are going to be attending the Bullpup Shoot 2015 here held out just west of Chicagoland, so northern Illinois, out in Mount Carroll, Illinois. We're going to be attending an event that's sponsored by Manticore Arms and Ratworks. Pretty cool bullpup, bullpup-centric event where have bullpups of all kinds to shoot out there, as well as other kinds of rifles. Last year they had some full auto stuff. They had like a Tommy gun. They had a wide selection of firearms that you could shoot. So basically, you come out there, you just work your way down the different firing lines, the different bays they got set up out there, and get to shoot a bunch of cool stuff. So hope to see you out there. The Firearms Radio Network personalities will be there. So bullpupshoot.com for more info on that, and should be a lot of fun.
Do you shop on Amazon? How about your spouse? Does your mom? Does your company? Why not use the Firearms Radio Network's Amazon affiliate link next time you shop Amazon? Bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon, or click through the Amazon link in the right-hand corner of firearmsradio.tv. Get it? Got it? Amazon it.
Patriot Patch makes this episode of Gun Guy Radio possible. Patriot Patch, that's where you can pre-order your very own Firearms Radio Network t-shirt. That's right. We have two t-shirts you can choose from. We have sizes from, I think, small all the way to 5XL. So even if you're a bigger boy or girl, you can fit into a Firearms Radio Network t-shirt. We don't discriminate. So check it out, patriotpatch.co. Get in on that pre-order, and we'll be printing those up here pretty soon. Hopefully I'll be firing up this is the first time we've ever done this in-house. I built a custom t-shirt printing press for Patriot Patch Company, and should have that thing fired up in the next week or two, just waiting on some supplies. I had one company that kept sending me the wrong item over and over again. They had a confused employee that they had to work things out with. But yeah, check it out, patriotpatch.co. We also have pre-orders going on for some pretty cool morale patches. The I'm Your Huckleberry patch pre-order is still going on, and wanted to thank you guys for supporting that. We have a bunch of you guys have signed up for the Huckleberry patch, but there's still plenty over there to go around, so head on over and pre-order that. Those should be running off the factory lines here in the next couple weeks, I hope. We had another issue there with we switched factories actually because of an issue, but yeah, check it out, patriotpatch.co. Well, this week I had a chance to sit down with Jimmie Cooper, who's a former USA shooting junior national team athlete, where he shot at a very high competitive level all the way through high school, and actually went over to I think it was the 2010 World Championships over in Munich, Germany. We talk a little bit about that international shooting experience with him here, and then we talk about his pursuit of Olympic level gold here in the sport of bunker trap shotgun shooting, which is something I wasn't very familiar with, and I don't think very many people are, but it's a pretty awesome sport and very competitive, especially on the national and Olympic level. So, we get to kind of walk through Jimmie's journey here, where he's in pursuit of an Olympic medal, which is something that not many people do, and I don't think many people understand that it takes for an Olympic level athlete. It's a full-time job. The training, the preparation, it's incredible. It's a full-time pursuit, and how we talk a little bit about how he's got to have a support system in place and sponsorships in place to make that possible. Just like with any other Olympic athlete, if you think of I don't know what you think of the Summer or Winter Olympics, the Winter Olympics, downhill skiers and the bobsled teams and whatever it is. I mean, those guys are training constantly. They don't have, that is their job. They don't have, they don't have a 9 to 5. Training for that pursuit of Olympic gold is their job, which is pretty crazy to think about, but pretty neat to hear Jimmie on his story of his journey and where he's at in pursuit of that. What do you tell people in an elevator? What do you do?
Well, that's always a funny conversation because people are, what do you do for a living? Or what do you do? And I told them I shoot international shotgun, and it's always the look, and then they go, now what do you do? And I have to kind of explain it. So, the title I would use most of the time, what I use on, social media platforms is, international bunker trap athlete. Since that's the style and the discipline I'm in right now, I figured that's the best way to say it. I could tell them, I used to shoot rifle and I was on the U.S. team for rifle and this, that, and the other. But right now, as of what I'm trying to do right now, I'm international bunker trap athlete.
So, Jimmie, how did you get into shooting? Did you grow up in a household where your folks shot guns or hunted or anything like that?
Yes, my father has always been hunting and always been a firearm enthusiast. Actually, back in when he was younger, he shot bullseye pistol, not professionally or anything like that, but he would go to the range and he'd shoot, his 45 Gold Cup and, 32 wide cutter. And I mean, he just enjoyed that. So, and he's also been a rifle shooter, long distance. He's just been a firearms enthusiast his entire life. And I kind of was born into that. I got my first Chipmunk 22 when I was 6 years old for Christmas. A little single shot 22 where you close the bolt and pull back the hammer there. And that's what I learned to shoot on. My father took me to the range and taught me safety and everything to do with firearms. And I was always in a pro firearm oriented situation.
The Chipmunk 22, is that the real tiny one that you can't fit adult sized fingers in the trigger guard? Or
yes. Yeah, that's it. It's real tiny. It's got the tiny stock and it's made to be a learner.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into one of those size 22s for my son is 5, so I think later this year he's going to be turning 6 later this year. So I think I'll be looking at one of those. A buddy of mine had got one of those for starting his kids off, and I remember trying to shoot it at the range, and you got to stick your pinky in there for an adult to shoot it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But so very cool. So you started off at a young age. What part of the country did you grow up in?
In South Florida, about an hour north of Fort Lauderdale, in a town called Coral Springs.
And how old are you now?
I'm 23.
Okay. And at some point you got into the world of competition shooting. How did that come about?
When I was 13, my dad wanted to take me to the range. And he used to shoot bullseye at a range in Hollywood, Florida, called Hollywood Rifle and Pistol Club. And it just so happened that on the day he decided to visit his old range, that there was a regional small bore 22 match going on, and the Army Marksmanship Unit was there. We showed up there, and here I am face to face with some of the best shooters in the world, and definitely some of the best shooters in the country. I was just fascinated with it. I mean, we didn't even know that kind of sport even existed, as far as with all the gear and the clothes and, jackets and pants and boots and all these space age looking 22 rifles. I was just taken back. I mean,
okay. So it was a rifle team, from the U.S. Army Marksmanship.
Yes. They were shooting the regional championship down at the range. It wasn't just them. It was others as well. There were locals shooting with them, but it just happened to be that on that day we decided to go there, they were shooting that match.
That got you on the road to rifle, or what discipline?
Yes, rifle, the international small bore side of it. I started with 22. We talked to them when we were there, and they said that it's a college sport, which we had no idea. It's an Olympic sport, which we really had no idea because it's never televised. Or if it is, it's in the middle of the night sometime and for 20 minutes or so. So we were just really taken back that it was a sport. It's such a big sport. So I started out at a range in Miami. The junior director at Hollywood Rifle and Pistol Club sent us down to Trailglades Range in Miami, Florida. And I started shooting and doing my NRA classifications. You start with marksman, sharpshooter, and expert, distinguished expert. And that's how I started with that. I started with my NRA classifications and worked my way up from there. About 6-8 months, I guess it was, later I did my first USA shooting match at Fort Benning, Georgia, which is where the Army Marksmanship Unit trains. And the next summer I was in Camp Perry for the first time doing the national matches there. So we took off on a fast track, and I just didn't let the hammer up, so to speak. I just kept on shooting, and it took me through the rest. I was started in middle school. I was 13, and it took me right through into high school. And I shot for a high school team in Sarasota. And I mean, that really just sparked everything.
That's pretty cool. You shot for a high school team. So tell me about shooting in that kind of a setting. Anything about shooting for me is great. I just love the sport. I love the camaraderie you get at matches, the camaraderie you have with a team. And shooting's not really it is a team sport, but it isn't. You have your team, you go to the match, you shoot separately, score-wise, but your team scores, come together at the end for the team portion of it. But you also have the individual scores. So it's just a very interesting atmosphere because you're not pitted against each other because you have to have that team score at the end. But at the same time, you're still trying to shoot against your teammates, and it's good fun. I mean, it's really great the way it's all set up and the way the sport is. And I've met some of the best people. I've done a lot of sports in my life, baseball and karate, and some of the best people I've ever met in sport-wise has come from the shooting sports. And I mean, shooting for a high school team, I had to move from Coral Springs, which is on the East Coast, to the West Coast to shoot for a military school. And I shot for Sarasota Military Academy for about a year and a half. And I attended school there. It was 100% ROTC. We had to wear the uniform every day. We had to wear the green button-down shirt with our green pants and shiny shoes and our berets. We had formation every morning. We did Pledge of Allegiance, and the band played the national anthem. And it was a great experience to be able to go to school there and shoot for their team. The reason I say I only shot there a year and a half is because we moved to Columbus, Georgia, which is where Fort Benning is and where the Army Marksmanship Unit trains. And I wanted to be closer to that range, be closer to the Army Marksmanship Unit, because by then I had made friends at matches with them, and I wanted to be in their junior shooter program, which is just a club that they run there a couple of times a week. And I believe they still do it. But I wanted to go up there, and I wanted to be a part of that, and I wanted to get just a better training environment and be training alongside some of the best shooters in the country and in the world. So I shot for another team in Columbus. I shot for Northside High School, and I shot for them for the rest of my high school. And also when a man named Frank Briggs retired from the Army Marksmanship Unit, he was a coach for many years. He started being my personal coach. Very cool. And that kind of led you into shooting nationwide and worldwide? Yes.
Frank Briggs he was the coach that made all the difference. I had a lot of great coaches. I had some of the junior shooter coaches at, the unit. and they were great. But Frank, when me and Frank got together and met, it was just an instant connection. And I would train at school in the afternoons, and then after I would train at school, I'd go straight to his house, and I'd train for a couple hours in the evening. He had a little air rifle range set up in the house, and he used a electronic targeting system called Noctel, which I don't know if you're familiar with or not, but it uses infrared, and pretty much it's a hold mapping device. And it uses infrared lasers to show where your hold is and everything on a computer screen. And that's the majority of what I did my training on with him, and what really led me into being the shooter that I was in rifle.
So, you made it on to the USA shooting team?
Yes. In the summer, it was 2 matches that led me onto the team. It was the Junior Olympics in, I believe it was April of 2010. And the other match was the National Championships that was in June. And what it was you had to qualify for both, or you had to qualify in the top spots at both matches in order to make the World Championship team, which was the goal. And I think in prone is what I made the World Championship team, prone 60 shot at 50 meters. And in Junior Olympics, I came in 3rd, I believe, and in Nationals, I came in 3rd as well. I could be mistaken about Junior Olympics. I could have come in 2nd. But yeah, and that's how I made the team. I had to shoot off at Nationals. In the finals, we went through our 10-shot finals, and it was me and another guy that had to shoot off for the spot. And I wouldn't have had it any other way. I mean, the announcer telling you both these 2 shooters stay on the line and shoot an extra shot, it's just heart's pounding, it's now or never kind of thing.
So then did that lead you into flying over to Germany to shoot over in Munich?
Yes, that was the matches that allowed me to make the World Championship team. And I was on the Junior World Championship team. That was, a phenomenal experience. That was all my training and hard work since the age of 13 coming to fruition, just here I am. I had the dream as a child of, or as a young junior shooter, making the U.S. team and being, able to go overseas and shoot against the world. And it really was just surreal. That's all I could say about that. I can't describe that feeling with words. All I can say is it's just out of body kind of really surreal experience.
So how does, logistically, does all that work? Do you fly over with your own gun and everything for that?
Yes. USA Shooting, which is our national governing body, kind of coordinated everything. They made the flight plans. They made the hotel accommodations. They made everything. And yeah, we get some strange looks because we come into the airport with a big gear bag and a big Pelican rifle case. And if you're shooting in both guns, air rifle and small bore, a lot of times you have 2 gun cases. And you get some looks, and the TSA kind of, you got to take it over there and let them swab it and do all that stuff and check it out. And I have to say we were lucky as far as we didn't have any problems going through customs on this side. And when we got to Germany, we didn't have any problems there either. I was afraid of that because I was afraid of the language barrier being a problem and saying something wrong, but they were really good about it. They took us in our little cubbies, and they just opened the gun and they looked at it and made sure everything was okay. We weren't carrying anything illegal into the country. And it was really a good experience on that end.
So once you're over there, did you have to go store your gun someplace special or?
Yeah, first place we went was Fort Time, and we trained in Fort Time for about a week and a half, and the World Championships were in Munich. But when we first got there, we rented all our vans and everything and loaded up our gear, and we traveled to a range in Fort Time, and it was back in the woods, the countryside of Germany, and really surprised me because I'm used to being in the United States where, there's a range and it's not a big deal, and over there it's just, you don't expect that because, of course, we're not familiar with that culture, but also just I didn't expect this range to be as big as it was. That would be a small range, considered a small range in Germany. And we had to store our guns there and our gear and everything. And they locked it up for us in their safe, and they were like their safe room. They had a whole room with a vault door on it. And we put all our gear in there, and that was our training center for about a week and a half, just get acclimated. and get everything ready to go and get our heads straight, and also to train on the tables, because there's only I don't believe that there is a range here besides when we shoot 3P air rifle at Fort Benning that has a range that's set up with tables. And when I mean tables, there's a big concrete wall about waist high, and there's tables that fold out, and you actually shoot prone off of those tables. And it's very difficult if you have a prone position that's very wide-legged or canted, the one side or the other, because you have to figure out your one leg's hanging off the table, your foot's hanging off the table, or if you're a wide position, both feet are hanging off the table, So that was one thing we had to get used to, was shooting off the tables in prone. And the other positions, you flip up the front of the table and you can stand. Well, for standing, you can stand in front of the table and then you flip it back and you shoot kneeling off the table as well. So that was something that they really wanted to get used to, because that was the way the Munich range was set up where we shot the World Championships. Huh,
that's pretty bizarre sounding. So you got to the championships and that was shot at a different location?
Yes. Fort time, I guess, was about 2.5 to 3 hours from Munich. Again, I could be wrong. But we had to load everything in the vans that we rented and everything and drive. And it was a good drive, to Munich, about, like I said, 2 hours or more. And, we got there, we were at there's a whole facility dedicated to the shooting sports in Munich. And it's, an Olympic grade facility. And it's huge. Just a huge complex. And they have everything housed there. It's shotgun sports, rifle, pistol. They have separate ranges for the match, as well as finals halls where you actually shoot. They have, in rifle, it's 8 points, 8 firing points, and you go and you shoot, and people watch you. They have stands, big screens. It's unlike anything I've seen. And it was interesting because at Camp Perry national matches in Ohio, they have the vendor row set up where you can go and you can look at all the different guns and gear and all different stuff like that. Well, they had the same thing in Munich with, Anschutz was there, and Bleicher and Walther and Feirenbaugh, all these people, as well as the companies that did clothing and, Sauer and all them. They were just, it was an amazing sight. They had restaurants, and it was a huge deal. Overwhelming, really.
It got down to the actual shooting, and how did all that hammer out?
That was great. I couldn't ask for much better shooting experience. Everything went well. I didn't have many problems. My teammates shot well. We took the bronze in 3-man team prone rifle, and the matches were shot separately. The team match and the individual match were shot 2 different days. And so that was interesting, because usually your team scores are shot the same time you shoot your individual scores. So we actually had to shoot 2 matches, 2 separate days. And, that was when, we made the podium, all 3 of us, first time overseas. And we were able to really just hammer it out and have great days. And we made the podium. And that was something that we went over there. You try to shoot a match with no expectation. And that's very difficult, as anybody will tell you that's in a competition shooting sport. Expectations are bound to happen in any sport, and especially when you train all the time and you know what you're capable of. We went over there and kind of just put all our expectations aside and came out really well.
You came back and you graduated. Was that before or after you graduated high school?
That was the same year I graduated high school. That was in 2010.
Okay. And then you took a little time off from shooting and focused on college?
Yes. I was a music major in college, and I had a scholarship for music. I really wanted to shoot for my college, and it just ended up being I had to focus on my studies, and I was very passionate about my music, and I'm very passionate about my shooting, and the situation arose where I had to kind of more or less pick one or the other. And I decided to finish my education. I knew shooting would always be there. And I just wanted to get my education through because that was very important to me. And, I knew I had to put the guns away for a period of time. I shot here and there, but not training like I was. And I went through college and I did a couple interesting things. I did some internships. I did work for Disney for a while in Orlando. I kind of got my fill of everything I wanted to kind of experience.
How did you get back into the competitive shooting world?
Well, about a year before I graduated college, I'd come back from, like I said, I took some time, did an internship. I took some time and went to school in South Florida. And then I came back to where I started, which was Columbus State University. And I changed my major to criminal justice. About a year into that, and my fiance was talking about how she wanted to go to the range and shoot some shotgun. And we'd been playing around. We've got property in Southeast Georgia, and we've been shooting clays out there, just kind of messing around. And I'd never really shot shotgun. My dad was always rifle pistol, very oriented. I'd never been on a bird field, anything like that growing up. It was always deer hunting, hog hunting, and behind the rifle or behind a pistol. So the clay target sports were just so new to me. And we went to the range, and I shot some American trap and ended up doing pretty well for my first time ever seeing, the range or a clay target come out of a trap house or anything like that. And it just sparked my interest. And I forgot how much I loved to pull the trigger. And that just set it off for me. I needed to be behind the gun again. I needed to be pulling the trigger again because I realized I missed it so much. And I thought about it for a while, and I said, well, I could go back to rifle and I could do that, or I can try a new direction and new faces, new people, kind of just a whole new world of shooting sports. And I just fell in love with the shotgun game. And that's pretty much what sparked me to go to USA Shooting and find an international bunker trap range. Because, of course, for me, shooting, the American style just couldn't be enough for fun, right? I had to go and find the hardest thing out there. But I found a range in about 2 hours south of Columbus in Hartsfield, Georgia, by the name of the South Georgia Youth Shooting Club, owned by Mike Simpson. And Mike Simpson's one of our assistant national team coaches for the shotgun sports. And I went down there and I spoke with him and told him, that I shot a little bit of American trap and that I was interested in the international discipline. And he asked me how long I'd been shooting shotgun. And when I told him I was a rifle shooter, he, of course, scratched his head. And I told him that this is what I want to try this. I want to see what I can do in this sport. And he took me under his wing, and I've been training down there full time now for a little under a year. I actually live on the range now. I've moved my camper there, and he's been very gracious to have me be able, or to let me stay there. And he coaches me every day. I'm out there pretty much.
So, bunker trap, what is that?
So, regular trap, you shoot, your 5 stations, and there's only one house and one machine. And that machine oscillates and throws the different angles and everything. You will never get harder than a 17-degree right or left. I believe that's what it is. That's what I've been told. And, your targets aren't as high. Bunker trap is a huge trap house, probably about 50 feet long. And it's got 15 machines, 3 machines per station. So you got 5 stations, and you shoot one target at each station and move, as opposed to American trap, where you shoot 5 at one station and move to the next. You're constantly moving. You have the machines are all set with schemes. You shoot 2 lefts, 2 rights, and a straightaway target from each station in random order. And everybody gets the same targets, but in a different order. The targets in American trap are moving about 40, 45 miles an hour probably, whereas the targets in bunker trap are moving about 65, 70. And it's also a different clay. The international grade clay is much, much harder than the American trap clay. It's built harder. It takes on average about 13 pellets to break an international target. And that sounds like, okay, yeah, but we found targets laying out there in the field when we go pick them up that have holes in them where we've hit them, or there's marks where the shot has just smashed against the clay and wouldn't break the clay. So they're very, very hard targets. Not only as far as distance, the distance they're being thrown and the speed they're being thrown and the angles. You get 45-degree angles is the angles you get out of the hardest angles you'll get out of bunker. You can get anywhere, like I said, from a 0-degree straightaway to a 45-degree left or right. 1.5 meters is the lowest target you'll get, and 3 meters is the highest target you'll get.
The more you know.
Yeah, there you go.
And so now you have what? You're aspiring to shoot at the Olympics someday?
Yes, the Olympics has always been my goal. Even, when I was shooting rifle, I've got such a drive and a passion for this sport in every part of the shooting sport. Even when I was younger and I was shooting at the range with my dad for fun, shooting distance, and he's got big rifles we shoot 1,000 yards with and stuff like that. I've always had a passion for it. Always. It's just been something that Dad comes in the room when I was younger and, hey, let's go shoot today. And it was just like a spark. And I'm ready to go, jump out of bed. It didn't matter what time it was in the morning. I'd be up. I'd wake up before him in the morning sometimes when he'd tell me we're going to the range the next day, be waiting for him. And I've always had this drive and passion for this sport, and I want to take it as far as I can.
So you're living on the range now. That's pretty cool. You just step outside and you can go shoot.
Yep, that's pretty much it. I wake up in the morning, I eat a little bit of breakfast, I open up the range, and when I get ready, I go out there and I shoot my rounds, train, and then a lot of times in the summer, some of the other athletes will be out there, and I'll train with them. We'll do games, shooting games and for training, and it's just great. I close down the range in the afternoon and do my cross training. I do cycling for physical, cross training, as well as weightlifting, strength training. And I've just got my little routine. I wake up in the morning, I shoot, I work out in the afternoon, I cycle in the evenings, and then I eat a good dinner and I go to sleep and wake up again the next morning and do it all again.
So how do you, make a living at this then? How do you pay the bills?
That's a good question. That's exactly the question a lot of people have asked. And I have a brilliant support system, between my family, my mom and dad, and my fiance. And as we all know, ammo costs money, a ton of money. And I fly through ammo, because of the amount that I train. I guess I could say that sponsorships, is a big, big deal. It's a big help, and that's pretty much how full-time athletes make ends meet. Of course, the support system from my family. My family helps me, and they back me the whole way, and I'm blessed to have such a fantastic support system. And,
right. Well, I guess you have to have some kind of support system before you because eventually, I guess you're hoping to land some bigger sponsors. Because for any Olympic athlete, I guess that's how it works, right? Where they have to train full time to get to the Olympic type of talent level they need to be at, and to do that, they have to have corporate sponsors and stuff like that, right? Oh,
of course, yeah. The bigger the support system, the more time they have to train and to focus on their ultimate goal, which is, for me, is an Olympic goal. It's very, 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 very important to have sponsors and people backing you, because it is a full-time job. Training, and anybody will tell you that are just training for the Olympics, and anybody will tell you that's been to the Olympics and knows what it takes to get there. It's a full-time job, and you have to be 110% committed all the time. And it's difficult because, you've got other things going on in your life. And you just have to it's almost like an obsession. You have to be obsessed with not winning, not the idea of winning, but just obsessed with the love of your sport. A lot of people, I guess, would say that I'm obsessed with my sport because I'm always looking for something to make me better. I'm always looking for that next step, that next rock to grab onto to pull myself up. And it's a journey. You start at the base of the mountain and you just climb, and you're always looking for something that is going to make you better. It's going to give you that edge. It's going to feed that, desire to be the best, to be at that Olympic level. And a lot of people would say that I'm I'm always looking for something, whether it's in my cross training to make me stronger for my shooting, or in my shooting, trying different things, new. I just put a new pad on my gun because I wanted to try and have less recoil coming at you. It's just little things here and there that make all the difference in the world. And just, you have to have that drive and that passion to want to be the best. And that is a full-time job, because it's like you can't get it out of your brain. You're always thinking about that next level, that next step, that next thing that's going to put you closer to where you want to be.
Well, very cool. So what does the timeline look like for, championships or anything like that coming up? And then, like, when would your first opportunity to make the next, what is it? You're looking to make an Olympic team to make it to the Olympics? Is that it?
Yes. This year, of course, is our year right before the Olympic Games, Summer Games, or next summer. And so this fall, we have a match in Tucson, Arizona, and that is our fall selection match, and that will be the first leg of the Olympic trials. That's going to be that and spring selection match, and we're not entirely sure where the spring selection match is going to be yet, what range it's going to be held at, but this is the first leg. The Tucson is the first leg of that 2-match selection process. We're struggling overseas right now with trying to find a quota spot in men's trap. Men's trap there's a lot of shooters around the world that are just machines. And
so a quota spot, what is that?
Well, so for your country to go to the Olympics in any sport, they have to give you a spot, and you have to earn that spot at World Cups and World Championships, Pan Am Games. For Europe, it's European Games. For Asia, Asian Games. That kind of, you have to earn a top spot in these matches in order to qualify your country to shoot at the Olympics. So we don't just select a team and send them. We have to send our athletes overseas, and they have to earn spots so we can send people to the Olympics. And in men's trap, there's 2 spots. And in every discipline of the shooting sports, there's 2 spots, 2 quota spots that we can send athletes. And right now we have just missed getting a quota spot in men's trap, but we do have a couple more chances. We have the World Championships coming up in September in Lonato, Italy, and I believe we have 1 more World Cup this year, and then 2 at the beginning of next year. So we still have some chances, and it's just, like I said, it's very difficult because these Italians and the Russians, Chinese, they're absolute machines. And what I was talking about earlier with, they eat, live, they breathe it. They wake up in the morning and that's all they do. We've always been able to overcome and be a force to be reckoned with overseas. And, against these Italians, and I mean, the Italians, especially in bunker trap, pretty much anywhere you drive in Italy, 20, 30 minutes, an hour, you can be at a range and shoot. It's a pastime for them. And here we have our bunker trap ranges, but they're few, far between. They're very far apart. Our Olympic Training Center, of course, in Colorado Springs has 5 bunkers, I believe. And, that's where we have nationals and stuff like that and travel there. There's bunkers spread out throughout the country, but it's, again, expensive to go and shoot these bunkers and, shoot matches, even small matches with people. Like I said, they eat, live, and breathe shooting bunker trap in Italy.
So, yeah, I never really knew that. So it's somewhat out of your control whether or not there will even be a spot to be had.
Well, yes and no. For everybody that goes over there, or everybody that goes to a World Cup or World Championships or one of these matches where quota spots are available, you have to shoot the match and you have to, have a good day and be better than some of these other guys and on their best day, which they're all human too, of course. And everybody has their days where, they're good and bad and in between. And of course it would seem like, some of these European teams just have no bad days, but that's of course not true. We all know that because we're all human, but we're given good opportunities, to get these spots, and it's just up to us to just bring them home.
about wraps things up. So where can people follow you and your journey online?
I have a blog, a website, pronetoshotgun.com. The Prone to Shotgun name kind of stemmed from, and that was my fiance's wonderful creativity. It just stemmed from, I went from prone, where I shot overseas, and I shot the other disciplines of rifle as well, but prone is what I made the team for, shot world championships and won a medal in. So I'm transferring now from prone rifle to shotgun shooting. So that's kind of the play on words there. And I also have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All those are at Prone to Shotgun as well. I'm writing for a company called Sport Audi. They're like an online, they call it outdoor adventure review company. People go and do things like, say you want to go hiking or scuba diving or whatever. People come on there and they put reviews on for all these different places. And then that way, if you're looking for a place to go do it, you go to this website and it's all these reviews. You can find the best one here and the best one there. And they have their what they call expert adventurers who also write for their blog, which is just tips about different sports. And like my first blog was about the Pan Am Games and how Team USA shooting did at the Pan Am Games. sportaudi.com.
Well, Jimmie, thank you so much for coming on the program and sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It's a great opportunity. I really appreciate it.
And best of luck training. And we hope to see you at the Olympics someday.
All right, thank you very much.
Well, again, a big thank you to Jimmie for coming on the program. And, wish him the best of luck in pursuit for his Olympic aspirations there. Pretty neat seeing a young guy with such big goals and dreams. Now I feel old saying that. But yeah, best of luck to him. Wanted to talk a little bit about Gun Guy Gear. Gun Guy Gear is now a sponsor of Gun Guy Radio. Probably because I have something to do over there at Gun Guy Gear. I kind of do everything over there. Where I'm currently developing, some Kydex products. Have already released this week in Accuracy International and AICS 308 762 magazine pouch carrier that carry around your AI mags. So I think we have a pretty good price point on those. They start out at $35 and come with standard with a heavy duty belt clip, so you can just clip that on. Nothing special. You don't have to thread it on your belt or anything. Or you can opt for the Malice, the Tactical Tailor Malice clips, which also would just clip on like a combat belt or a duty belt or a tactical belt or whatever kind of belt. It would go on any kind of belt, any width. Whereas the belt clip versions for a 1.5 inch belt. But if you have an 1.5 thick carry type belt, it's going to clip on there very firmly and never come off. And we also have AR-15 magazine carriers over there as well, coming in at just $35. Free shipping on these. Now, these are custom made to order, so there is a 1 to 2 week lead time. My goal here with Gun Guy Gear is to get away from that, classical custom holster, like you have to wait 5 months to get a holster. But starting up here, it's going to be a few weeks lead time on most of our products, just until we get enough volume to justify stocking items. But my goal, long-term goal with it, is to have more of an Amazon business model where, hey, you want a holster? You want a magazine carrier? Oh, yeah, you can have that tomorrow at noon. I don't really see many other companies in the holster business doing that, so that's what I'm pursuing long term. Hopefully hopefully not that long, but if we get some sales coming in, it'll make that possible quicker and quicker, and that we'll have we'll have our products on Amazon as well to make that quick ship time possible. Because one reason that's possible is if Amazon has it at their warehouses already, and you have Prime, Amazon Prime, then hey, it's free 2-day shipping, or for like $4 or $5 extra, you can have it tomorrow. And actually, with Prime shipping, I just got stuff today. It's in my workshop here that I ordered yesterday at, it was like 3:00 yesterday, and it was here when I pulled in to the shop. I pulled in about 9. No, it was before 9. Before 9 a.m. I got here on a Saturday. Pulled in, and these things that I ordered on a Friday at 3 p.m. were already here, and I didn't pay anything extra. It was just free Prime shipping. So sometimes it just kind of blows you away on how quick stuff can come through Amazon. So the power of Amazon. So eventually, I hope to have Gun Guy gear, magazine carriers, and anything that Amazon doesn't frown upon, have that at their warehouses for quick shipping as well. So check it out, gunguygear.com, gunguygear.com. Just like gunguyradio.com, replace the radio with gear. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys. You can go take a look, give me your thoughts on those, and some of the other awesome products we have. We have cigar carriers, like a 3 cigar holster. If you're a cigar lover, you can check those out as well. gunguygear.com.
Gun Guy Radio says thank you and proudly displays artwork and graphics designed by Ryan Cross of Hunter of Design. hunterofdesign.com.
Well, that about wraps up this week's show. Remember to subscribe to us on iTunes, leave us that iTunes review, and please consider joining the NRA and the Second Amendment Foundation. These organizations do things that we as individuals could never accomplish alone. And don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows on the Firearms Radio Network, firearmsradio.tv. Well, that's a wrap, and we'll see you next week.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv. Freedom. How does one maintain freedom? That's a question our founding fathers pondered over 200 years ago. They believed the solution was in our Constitution and its amendments. We exercise the freedom of speech every day here at FRN, along with the right of the people to keep and bear arms. Preserving freedom. We believe the Second Amendment could possibly be that one amendment that protects all the rest. Help us to preserve America as a shining light on the hill. We do our part by providing entertainment and information that supports the Second Amendment every day. Preserving freedom. What do you believe? Get involved. Show your support at patreon.com/FRN.